I think what's so powerful about our instructional leadership team meetings is that it is so dynamic to the needs of our organization.
They are held sacred because we have all of these other priorities and things that we need to be doing throughout the week, but it's a time for us to check in every single week, to review action plans, hold each other accountable, practice, which makes us better as coaches and leaders.
There are two main data landscapes that we pull from in instructional leadership team meetings. We look at action steps that teachers are working on per an established scope and sequence, and then we look at student outcomes, and then we change our coaching schedule and support cycle accordingly.
We're constantly looking at our teacher development data. How are our teachers growing in our work? What are they working on? What are we focusing on? And what does that mean for how we respond and provide additional supports?
That PD that we delivered, the Reteaching 101, I think teachers are still struggling with the difference between a model and a guided discourse.
Yeah, yep.
Is there an opportunity for teachers to identify or let us know when that reteach is taking place? Like, how, coming out of those data meetings, are they saying this is exactly when this reteach is taking place? Because I feel like that's going to help us be able to then plan strategically to see that.
And then the follow-up to that is, once they've received the coaching and the support, did the student outcomes increase and get better? And that's how we constantly know that we're closing the loop on giving teachers what they need, which is equity.
I think that it's important for the school leaders to meet regularly just because they're an extra set of eyes. We're in the classroom, we're there doing the work every day, whereas they would have the more holistic view of all of the grade levels of the school in its entirety, making sure that there's no gaps from grade level to grade level. As a teacher, that impacts me just because it gives me a support system.
We also ground our instructional meetings not just in teacher data but also student data. So what's happening across our grade levels? What does that look like with the interim data or the ongoing exit ticket data?
In first grade, I gave them feedback around IA2 question number 22 in particular. It was 78%, the lowest performing question. And so I was like, we need to get in front of this and you can pull another question or use an IP to replace that. So.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I flagged that to fourth grade too.
If the leadership didn't come in and the teachers were just teaching us stuff, then I wouldn't be here like growing my brain today. I think like with their help, it makes the class better.
We look at the existing supports in place, one-on-one coaching meetings, common planning times on Tuesdays, school-wide professional development, morning content huddles, and we try and fit in when can we close this loop and who's the best person to support that teacher, going across content, going across grade levels. So we might pull in a content specialist or instructional coach from a different grade level or content area if they have that knowledge.
Say, for instance, if one of my ILT members is like, hey, I noticed in guided reading that they are not stating the bottom lines, then I can go and be like, oh, okay, let me observe for my next steps. And now I'm going to observe K and see if I see the same things that you're seeing. And so it prepares me and gives me a better lens on things that I need to put on my radar more closely.
We also will practice, which I think is what I enjoy the most about the ILT meetings. Oftentimes people think, as a leader you don't get feedback, but that's not true. And part of the reason I wanted to be on the instructional leadership team was to continue to grow.
What might someone do, or what would a teacher do if they were choosing not the best technique to gather the data the teacher is checking for? What would that look like for cold call, Nelligan?
What is the theme from the text and how do you know?
Great. Why?
From the end of the story. Because responses could vary and it requires, it's just it's assessing around the process, not the answer.
And it requires more
time for the student to answer.
Yeah, good job.
The alignment of the instructional leadership team being on the same page and the supports that's then focused within the grade level teams ensure that students then are getting the most effective, the most targeted supports necessary for them to close those academic gaps